Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to another episode of News Dose, and Sony announced a huge milestone for the PlayStation 4 today, and in fact it's record-breaking, which is absolutely insane. The PlayStation 4 really has completely dominated this generation, and it just seems to continue, but before we get into all that, don't forget to hit that subscribe and bell notification button if you want to keep up to date with all of the latest gaming news. I try to post 3 to 4 times a week, and I pride myself on delivering as much game-related news as I possibly can. But back to the main topic, and yeah, the PlayStation 4 has now sold 100 million units, which is already crazy. But it's actually the fastest selling console to ever reach 100 million units sold. Now, to put that into perspective, that is faster than the PlayStation 2, which I believe is the best-selling home console of all time at around, I want to say, about 160 million units, or maybe even slightly more. Correct me if I'm wrong. And for the people who weren't around during that time, the PlayStation 2 was a really big deal when it came out, especially because it was also a DVD player, and that was a really big deal back then. I mean, yes, it was a great console. I mean, it had some fantastic games on it, but the DVD drive actually played a really big role in its success. And the PlayStation 4 also sold faster than the Wii. Now, the Wii didn't exactly have the legs that the PlayStation 2 did, but for its first few years on the market, that thing was sold out everywhere. I mean, that thing sold insanely fast and you were lucky to even get one. The Wii just kind of stopped selling pretty much just as fast, which I believe was due to the casual market migrating over to phones, which I think actually hurt Nintendo in the long run, because they really did try to latch onto the casual market for a very long time, even years after the Wii was so successful, which we saw with the Wii U, and we know it failed miserably. But anyways, I just want to congratulate Sony on the big accomplishment, because yes, this is a very big deal and it's well deserved. They have really put a lot of work into their first party content this generation, and they've made games like God of War, which I believe is one of the greatest single player games that I've ever played, and Spider-Man was phenomenal, and they've had Bloodborne, Uncharted 4, Horizon Zero Dawn, and the list goes on and on. They've done a really good job with their first party content, which is what I believe they really excel at so well. And of course they have great third party support as well, whether that be Western studios or even Japanese games. I think PlayStation 4 is a great console, and obviously the fans believe that too, because they've really supported it and it shows. And it's pretty much dominated since the beginning of this generation. But this really is such a big milestone, and I'm curious to how much they can sell lifetime because PlayStation 5 is coming out next year. Of course, the PlayStation 4 will continue to sell even after the PlayStation 5 comes to the market, but yeah, I'm interested in seeing if it can actually sell as much as the PlayStation 2, which, like I said, I think it's sold around 160 million units. But what do you all think? Do you think it can actually sell just as much as the PlayStation 2, or even more? Let me know in the comments below. In other news, in a very surprising announcement, the very promising RPG Outer Worlds will be releasing on the Nintendo Switch. It will not be a simultaneous release, and it's actually coming sometime after the release for other platforms, but considering this is being developed by Obsidian Entertainment, which is one of the best RPG developers right now, you should definitely keep an eye out for this one if you like Western RPGs. Now, Obsidian Entertainment was acquired by Microsoft last year, but this specific game is actually being published by private divisions and not Microsoft themselves, because they were already working on this prior to the acquisition. I know that's kind of confusing for some people, so I just wanted to clear that up real quick. But the Switch version of Outer Worlds will be ported by Virtuous, which also ported Dark Souls to the Nintendo Switch, and I think they did a pretty decent job with that game if I'm correct. Speaking of the Nintendo Switch, the Switch Lite is now available to pre-order on Amazon, so if you want to make sure you get your Switch Lite day one, you might want to pre-order it now. I'm not sure if it'll sell out or anything, but just to make sure, I'd get it sooner rather than later. Also, the Dragon Quest Hero is releasing today and will probably be out by the time I publish this video. He looks crazy good, and people are already screaming OP, and well, personally, I think that's a little too early to be saying that he's OP. I mean, I've legitimately seen people call for a ban for Dragon Quest Hero, and from my experience, and again, this is just my experience, but a lot of the time in any game, when a new character releases, people tend to scream OP, And this happens quite a bit in multiplayer games from my experience. But then when they actually play said character, it's not as bad as they previously thought. Now, I was a big part of the Killer Instinct community, and I swear, every time a character released in that game, people were always saying it was OP, but then it was fine once you actually played the character. Now granted, Hero does look crazy good, but I just want to try him out before saying too much. I want to talk about Hero more, but I'm going to wait until I play him myself before diving too much into that topic. So stay tuned for possibly another video on that subject later on. Now the last thing I want to talk about is we got a new game announcement, which was a sequel to Garfield Racing. And this one may be a little surprising to some people, but from my understanding, people hold Garfield Racing in a very high regards, and some people believe it's one of the best kart racing games ever. I've never played it myself, and I don't really have an attachment to the characters per se, but as a kart racer fan, I may give it a try at some point, and maybe you all should too. Anyways, that's it for this episode, but let me know what you all think in the comments below, and don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Peace out.